me 2 seconds. I think, there she is. Hello. How's it going?
Hi everyone, how are you?
Good.
So
So
I just wanted to say how excited I am to try this. And I mean, you ladies are so smart, so you'll decipher some of the memes that we cannot get.
hopefully we do because this is a memes account, so we want to make sure that the memes are ready.
Perfect. And I'm wearing actually his shirt. He's actually just dropping some merch on his, oh yeah, and mine too. Yes, yes, yes. Um, yeah, because he's dropping actually these shirts in the link in his bio. So I I'm convincing him to raffle some next time.
Oh, let's do that because I'm pretty sure our viewers would love to get some engineering memes guide merch.
I know with the
I know
COVID.
I want some. So
Yeah. So yeah. That's funny. And I wanted to introduce Paulina, and I actually do like this, like, explain it to me like with a meme because I feel like that is like the papaya way. We wanna like explain it to you in a very graphical way, in a way that it would like stay with you and you can, have fun learning. So I'm happy to introduce our good friend Paulina Castrellon. She's so amazing. She's an engineer. She works at Lockheed Martin. She was telling me her story. She started like pretty much put herself through school. I mean, she has such an amazing story and she has such love for environmental and safety engineering. So I'm pretty sure that you guys will ask her so many questions. So yeah, with that being said, I just want to give a big welcome to Paulina.
all right, awesome. Well, thank you, Sandra, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye. All right, so coming up next, we are going to have our special guest, Paulina, come on. Like I said, we're going to be deciphering some memes. We're going to, oh, hi. Hi, Paulina. Oh my gosh, wait,
Hi.
wait, before we do anything, is this new? Because the lives that I've been to, it's only been two people. Is this like a new thing on Instagram that all of a sudden, like, we can have more than two people on?
I think this is a new Instagram feature, which I'm not mad at it. This is gonna
I'm not
be
mad at it either. This is pretty cool.
this just
I
became
mean,
like the new clubhouse.
well,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
it is.
Sandra's
Maybe we
like,
can
Dios
have more
mío.
people. Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Yes, it's new. Oh,
I'll let you guys go because I do want to hear about you. And Paulina knows I'm camera shy, but thank you for watching, everybody. We already have a really good audience. Wow, 98 people. And are you all ready to talk
Hey,
about memes?
hey.
There you go.
yeah, we're ready. We're ready. I
We're
mean,
Okay,
ready.
I'll let you guys
we
go.
got some
I'll
memes
leave you.
going.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye. All right, Paulina, how's it going?
Hey, long time no chat.
I know. I feel
Well,
like, I mean, I think I know you, but I've never actually met you. So it's just
yeah.
like so weird that we've just like known each other through just Instagram. And so this is really cool. I get to talk to you for the next hour, so I'm really excited about this. All
I'm
right,
super
so
excited. Go for it.
so go ahead
I'm
and
here.
introduce yourself. I'm going to try to figure this out because we're going to
No
be
worries.
going through some memes because there's obviously some new features on here that are not
Yeah.
from last week. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. So let me first and get started. My name is Paulina Castrellon. I'm an environmental health and safety engineer. I work for Lockheed Martin in the aeronautics division, meaning airplanes. Lockheed Martin has numerous of different sectors from space to rotaries and missiles. I just happen to be in the aeronautics division, the planes. So as an environmental health and safety engineer, if you guys saw my introduction earlier, I did a takeover. Essentially, a full summary, what is it and what do I do? My job is to pretty much work in the most dangerous areas and make it safe. Apply safety controls from environmental safety applications and environmental and engineering controls. The goal is always to eliminate a hazard. And every company you go to, you're always going to have like that safety coordinator, which we have the memes we'll bring up. But I'm more than just that person that tells you and yells at you, like, put on your PPE. I'm working constantly with other engineers to make a safer environment and to also protect our outside environment outside of our company. So I'm really excited to chat with you because it's also Women's History Month, and you know
It
how I feel
is.
about that.
It started
So,
Monday, so we're all
yes,
about Women's
yes,
History Month this month.
that's right, that's
Oh,
right.
so I don't know if it's like a new feature, but like I can only put up faces, and I'm not going to do that because I don't want to like put myself like as the Bernie meme right now. So what we will do is I have some health and safety stuff right next to me, and you're going to tell me, oh, I came prepared. I came prepared for today's interview.
Okay.
So you're going to have to tell me, like if I'm going onto a work site and, what is the stuff that you look for when I'm going onto a hazardous work site?
Oh, I like this. This is my specialty. Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Obviously, the hard hat.
Hard hat.
Right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So when industry, some areas, depending on the high hazard, you'll have a hard hat or a bump cap. So what's the difference between a hard hat and a bump cap? Well, if you didn't know, hard hats, when you turn your hard hat inside out, you're going to have an ANSI code or a particular standard code or regulation. Yeah, Blue Origin. Hey. That's right. That little sticker. Oh, it's okay.
I don't work there anymore.
It's okay. It's okay. It's PPE. Those stickers inside of your hard hat, that's what I'm inspecting. So when I go, for example, on a construction site or any type of operation, and I see a hard hat that maybe that's been deteriorated, damaged, I'm going to ask the employee and say, hey, can I look at your hard hat? I'm going to look at the time. I'm going to look at the regulation. Maybe you need a new one. And then I'll work with your supervisors, your managers to get you a new one, because safety first. We don't want you to get hurt. And a bump cap, well, depending on the severity of how high hazard that area is, not everybody needs a hard hat. A hard hat can be pretty bulky. I get it, it's uncomfortable. And a bump cap, all it is a baseball cap with an insert just to protect your forehead here and your top area of your head. But in order for us to determine like what's the difference of when I should use a hard hat or a bump cap, is the environmental health and safety engineers, such as myself, would perform a JSA, which is called a job safety analysis. So in your area, you would talk to your safety specialist, your supervisor, manager, and say, hey, what do I wear? A hard hat or a bump cap? They'll say, hey, go look at the JSA, go look at the risk assessment, go look at your work hazard board, and that's going to tell you what type of PPE you should wear for your particular hazard.
See, I did not know this. This is pretty cool.
No
okay, so I have a couple of more items, and I want you to kind of go through the exact same thing, the technical side of what. So
got you. I'm rolling up my sleeves right here.
I mean, you have to. So I have this hazard yellow thing that I wear when I'm on the launch pad. I mean, it usually clashes with my outfit, but please tell me why I have to wear this.
Yeah. So so the nice thing, when you're wearing your vest, that vest is pretty much with the reflecting colors for potential high hazard to notify anyone else in that area that you're visible, right? But if you didn't know, all of those colors mean something. There's something in orange, there's something in green, there's something in yellow, and some also have multicolors, and some vests actually have symbols on them where they're the X on the back, they're the X in the front, but everything means something different. What's actually unique about the safety vest is a lot of companies kind of tailor it per the company. So for example, one particular company that I worked for on a construction site said, if you're a supervisor, you only wear orange. So that means as an engineer would walk on a construction site, I knew who the supervisor was because I just looked for an orange vest, and all the other engineers would wear green, right? So it's easy. I can get to the task that I needed to do, get to the right POC, point of contact, and still make sure that everybody's safe.
That's awesome. So I think we're going to have another special guest now that we can have different people. I'm going to have Sandra back on, and she's going to actually give us a couple of those memes, and then we're going to go right on back, and we're going to go to different PPE, because I love talking about this. Again, I'm just someone that goes onto the launch site, and, they're like, you have to wear this. If not, you can't go. You have to take training for it. So
hearing protection too, especially
hearing protection, glasses. I got everything here just for you. Okay, so now Sandra's here because, again, this whole new Instagram thing, we can have 3 people in a live, but I can't show a picture anymore. This is all super weird.
It's okay.
Okay,
no worries.
So we're gonna have this first meme, and I don't know if you can look at it, but
I'm very familiar with this meme.
Oh, okay. So this is the first time I've seen this meme. All right,
no
so
worries.
I'm reading it right now. Okay, for Christmas, I want a dragon. Okay, keep going. Be realistic. Got it. Keep going. I want all of my workers to follow every safety. This is you. Is this you? Is this like? Did you make this meme? Okay. What color do you want your dragon? Okay. So please explain. Did you make this meme? Because this is like, this sounds like you would. Okay.
Right? No, I didn't make this meme, but I remember when I came across this meme, instantly I said the same thing. I said, this is my life. As any safety professional, What do we want? We want our employees to practice and follow all of the safety rules. I know that you're not going to do it all the time. I know when I walk away, you're going to take off your glasses, but I'm going to really try really hard to work with you, your managers, your supervisors, to encourage on that safety culture. So one thing, like at my company, we have something that's called a target zero. We strive to have zero injuries. We strive to have, protect our employees. It's kind of impossible, but you know what? We're going to try. And so I remember when I saw this meme, I remember during Christmas, because Christmas, if you're working in industry, that's everyone's rushing, everyone's working hard, everyone's doing overtime. That's when we're also fixing machines, and that's when accidents happen. So if I had to ask Santa Claus anything, it would say, please make everyone wear their PPE and practice the safety rules, please, please.
So, okay, so there's other people on here who are like 5, mine is 2. Now someone said the character looks like you. I don't know who it looks like. I mean, I have like, I don't know. She has curly hair. I don't know, but cool. All right, let's go on to the next meme. Okay. So, all right, I'll just let you guys read this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So pretty
All
much
right,
this
so
one is,
go ahead.
This meme, when I saw it, it made me laugh because when I go in certain machine shops or certain areas in general, and I see when I walk in, employees are already wearing their PPE and I don't have to say anything, instantly I just go up to them and I just say, you're my favorite. We have this thing what's called an Esh coin. There you go. You're my favorite. We have like an incentive program. If I go to an area and you're wearing your PPE, you're practicing good safety culture, you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and you're being, a superb employee, we have rewards, we have incentives. You'll get a patch, you'll get an Esh coin, you can get a gift card. So it's always in your best interest, right, to practice safety, because it also looks good as you as an employee for your employee performance review, as your department goals, and you always want to be on the safety good side. That's what I say, be on my good side.
The safety person was the first person that I visited when I got to Blue Origin, because I just wanted that hat that said Blue Origin. And so like they ran out of those hats that like actually had it printed. They only had ones that you would put stickers on. But because I was so nice to the safety person and we became really good friends, he's like, I got you. And so he gave me like the really cool safety hat that said Blue Origin on it. And I just was just like walking around all the time with it just because I thought it was pretty badass. Okay, so let's get on to the next meme, if Sandra will be so kind. All right. Okay, so this one I saw it and I laughed instantly because you and I are dog moms. I just recently became a dog mom. You have Kevin, which, oh my God, I love Kevin. So this right here, so this right here just like cracked me up. So it says me giving a safety presentation and then my worker is just like, so when you give safety presentations at your job, do you get that specific face from your workers?
Well, what's interesting is I think for myself, I'm a pretty animated person, and I try to do my best when I'm giving a presentation to keep the room going. I mean, I remember back when I was in school, I hated PowerPoint presentations all day. It was like, let's do activities, let's stand up, let's do kind of like a lunch and learn, let's get the room going, right? That's how you're going to capture the audience. And I understand if you're working, you have to do training, new hire orientation, I do it. Lockout, tagout training, I do it. Safety training, I do it. I'm the one talking behind the cameras because everything's via Zoom, which is even harder now because everything is via Zoom. So it's like, hey guys, welcome to new hire orientation. It's your safety engineer. So it's just really engaging with the audience and trying to keep everyone not to fall asleep. That's key.
Obviously. And then for all of you guys joining, my name is Joan, this is Paulina, we're on Engineering Memes Guy. I know that it's, we have 2 women here on Engineering Memes Guy, as Mr. Atomics 3000 perfectly put it. But this is Women in STEM Wednesdays. We need allies. If you guys don't want to be here, have a great night. We're having a great conversation. Women in STEM, you're going to be working with them, especially if you are an engineer. And, this is a perfect opportunity to ask us questions. How does it feel to be a woman in STEM? How is it, how are you dealing with, comments like that? So, please follow along. I love to talk to you guys. And, we're going to move on to the next meme because, again, this is Engineering Memes Guy. So, Sandra, if you're so kind. Next one. Again, so if all of you guys joining, so before I was able to just post a picture on when there's 2 people, But now that we have 3 people, that Instagram just decided to add more people to the conversation, I can't add a picture. So now we have Sandra from Papaya Tutors, who's one of our sponsors, putting the memes up on her phone so we can discuss it. All right, so the next meme is, oh, I love The Simpsons. It's one of my favorite shows. So safety team, upper management, obviously upper management is yelling at you guys constantly because you want the teams to be safe. And then OSHA is also yelling at upper management. So, you know, this is a perfect meme because everything kind of, you know, trickles down. So if if safety engineer is telling you, you know, to be safe, it's because they're doing their jobs. Upper management wants them to be safe because there's codes and violations that the company do not want to be held accountable for. So it's not just, you know, keeping yourself safe, but it's also keeping your company safe as well. So go ahead, give us a little bit more about this meme.
No, yeah, you said it perfectly. That's pretty much what it is. When we have conversations and do training and talk about programs and policies as engineers and working on different assessments, you know, sure, we're talking to the operator, sure, we're, you know, it may sound like we're kind of on your back, but it's important because if we don't, you know, check it and align it in order, the next person who's going to check us all is OSHA. And OSHA, Occupational Safety Health Administration, is federal law. So as a company, we don't want to break the law. We don't want to get in trouble from a federal agency. So we want to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. And that's my job, to make sure that the company follows all the safety codes and that we're good. That way we don't have OSHA knocking on our door.
You don't want OSHA knocking
yells
on our
at
door.
me.
Yep,
Yeah,
you don't want that. All right, Sandra, we're still going to do one more meme, and then we're just going to try to get into the Women in STEM conversation. So just one more meme. We got this. All right, you decide. Oh, this is from Office Space, which is a classic movie. All right, let's go. All right, so someone has to do it in the voice. Yeah.
You want to do that?
If you could just wear your PPE, yeah, that'd be great. I'm sorry, I'm not an actress over here, but you know, you get the picture. If you've seen the movie, it's a really good movie. So go ahead.
This is my life. Like, especially with COVID going on, I can't tell you how many times I have to constantly tell people, like, hey, please wear your mask appropriately from above your nose to your chin. And I always have to try to remind employees, you know, everyone has their own personal views and their own personal opinions. That's totally fine. However, when you come on site, you have to follow the company rules. You have to follow the company policy. So everything how you feel kind of goes out the door because you're at work. You're in a whole new realm. So my job is to enforce the company rules, and that means by wearing your PPE, whether those safety glasses or a mask. If you don't like it, well, I just say go talk to your supervisor, and you know that you may get a write-up, you may get talk to HR. I don't know, but that I'm doing my job. That's how I see it. I got to do my job.
I mean, everybody has to do their job. So, Papaya Tutor, thank you so much for stepping in and showing us the memes. So, you know, now that we've done the memes, and again, thank you to Engineering Memes Guy for giving us this platform and talking to all of you guys today. Paulina is an amazing environmental health and safety engineer, and I want to get to know her a little bit more. I want you guys to get to know her more. So please ask us questions while we have our conversation. But, you know, starting it off, you know, you kind of talked about the environmental health engineering side. So give us a little bit more of your background. Like, how did you get into EHS? You know, what did you study in school? And is it something that you always dreamed about doing while you were in college?
Yeah, so I attended Cal State University Northridge. I, you know, reside in California, Los Angeles, LA, and STEM was not something I even knew about growing up. I grew up I'm a first generation Latina, Chicana. In my household, my family did not go to college. College was something that I was told to do as a little girl, but no one told me to be an engineer. Nobody told me to be a doctor. It was more like just go to school, finish and hurry up. And I actually enrolled in university with communications, journalism, and public relations. I wanted to be the next Anthony Bourdain, travel the world, just do something like that. I took an elective called Environmental Occupational Health, and instantly, like, it captivated my mind. I was so interested in the aspect of public health and engineering concepts and combining them. I never heard of the field. I never heard of this term. And when I talked to the director, like any university director, they always want to persuade students. Instantly, I said, okay, well, first things first, where can I get a job? Because I have student loans now to pay. I have bills to pay. So when the director started letting me know, like, all the different opportunities that I would be given with this career, I jumped on it. And my family was not fond of it because they said, hey, you know what, you're going to be in school for a long time. I was in school for maybe 5 years. It was not 4 years. Um, yeah, school takes forever. I failed organic chemistry. I failed yep, it happens, right? And I was not a 4.0 student, but something that I kept telling myself constantly because I had to put myself through school being a first generation Latina. I was constantly telling myself, this is temporary. This is not permanent. You're going to get out of it. You're going to get out. You're going to make it. Like, you just got to make it every day. Thermo and physics kicked my butt. And I wish I had Papaya Tutor, man. When I was in school, I was trying to teach myself all of these courses, and I was struggling because, mind you, my parents only had a high school education. I couldn't go to my mom and dad and be like, hey, can you teach me thermodynamics? They don't know. I don't know if any of you guys as the viewers have any of, can relate, but it was something that I struggled. And so I graduated college, and as soon as I graduated college, as any student, the first thing that I needed to do was get a job. And that was the hard part. Where can I get a job? I don't know a lot of people in engineering. I didn't know anyone. And I just kept applying everywhere that I could, from Indeed to Monster to LinkedIn. And I told myself, whatever's the first job that gives me a job, I'll take it, because I really needed to get a job. And I took it. And from there, I started, building that confidence, building that experience, networking. Networking is key. And I'm here today.
Yeah. I mean, someone in the comments said Chegg, like Chegg,
Yeah.
Papaya Tutors, they're all the exact same thing. Papaya Tutors is exactly like Chegg. And that's what I used when I was in college. Whenever there was questions that I could not understand, there was tutors online for me. And that's what Papaya Tutors is exact same thing, except it's not just, it's very STEM oriented. It's very STEM specific. So, something like that would have definitely helped me when I was in college. And then also mentors. I think mentors would help you a lot. Like STEMedia is another amazing partner of this Women in STEM Wednesdays. And they are there for mentors. They're there for helping you, to help you and guide you along the way. So, having all of that help when I was in college would have definitely been a lot of a load lifted off of me, because it was something that was difficult when I was navigating through it. So, you were talking about being a first generation Latina. And so, my parents also high school level. My father went straight into the Army. My mother didn't graduate college. She just graduated high school. So, you said about being a doctor. Is it something that your family was just like, be a doctor to be successful? Like, they didn't know about engineering? Because at least for my family, it was just like, be a doctor or a lawyer, and you'll succeed in life. And so I was like, okay, I'll be one of those. I'll be either Grey's Anatomy or, a law firm. And so I never really thought about engineering, because it was just nothing that was, taught to me when I was growing up. So what about you?
Well, same. So my mom was born in Uruguay in South America. So a lot of her family in Uruguay and Ecuador, they were just like, a lot of them were lawyers, a lot of them were accountants, a lot of them were doctors, a lot of them were not engineers. So it was kind of like, that was the only thing that I knew, but that was my family in Ecuador and Uruguay. And it's not like I could call them constantly and be like, hey, how do you go to law school? How do you become a doctor? And the rules in education is very different. And when I started, when I switched over my major to environmental occupational health, mentorship was something that I really needed. I didn't even have a lot of female professors. I only had one female professor, and she was really helpful. She was kind enough to kind of give me the tips and tricks, because especially when it came to like PPE, where can I buy steel toe boots that fit my size? My first steel toe boots, I had to buy them at Sears, a little boy section, because I couldn't fit in the men's section, or the men's size shoes. So, funny stories as you go throughout your career and things that you learn. I mean, I'm so happy to see that a lot of industries now and companies are coming out with a versatile PPE, like sizing. Sizing is important, man. I still sometimes will find a vest and I'm like, extra, extra large. I'm like, nobody has a small. Yeah.
Well, so before I go to the next question, I think we've had some requests to talk in Spanish. Do you speak Spanish? ¿Hablas español?
Yes, yo puedo hablar en español. Yes, yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes, yes.
So you have bilingual engineers here. Please ask us your questions. We'll answer some in Spanish if you want us to. Okay, so I do have a question from someone, if you don't mind. So how do you establish a rapport and authority when you're starting a new role?
Ooh, that's a good question. So when you're starting a new role, like if you're an entry-level engineer, I would highly recommend is getting to know your staff, getting to know kind of like following the chain of command, knowing who everybody is in the following departments so that you know who to contact the correct way of the correct POC. So you know every department. And that way you don't have to go through loopholes. You'll build those connections. So when you're trying to build that authority, though, especially as an entry-level engineer, I know it can kind of be hard and I know it can kind of be a little intimidating, but you just have to go in there and you have to remember that you deserve to be in that room. You got hired for a reason, and whatever you feel, unsure about, go ahead and ask your colleagues, ask your director, ask your manager, double check that whatever you're going to bring to the table, or if you need to make like shut down a production process, that you have a valid reason, right? There's nothing wrong with asking for help, but don't doubt yourself.
So what is one of the, have you ever shut a production down? Like what is one of your
Yeah,
weirdest
3 times.
stories as an EHS engineer, or like one of the coolest stories that sticks out to you?
I have a lot of cool stories, but so the thing is, like with environmental health and safety, we have this high, level where yes, I can shut down production because my job is to shut down high hazard areas. If I see an area that's dangerous, it's going to be under my name if somebody gets hurt. Because if OSHA comes on site and first responders come on site, you know what's the first thing they're going to say is, "Where's the safety engineer? Why did you let them do that work? Why did they get hurt?" I have to have my answers. I have to have my suitcase ready for a fight to have that, rebuttal. So when I go see a process or I go see an operation of work, I want to know how you're going to do it, why you're going to do it, what's the worst that can happen, and are we prepared? And if we can't do it that way, what's another way? Have a plan A, have a plan B, and have a plan C, so we have a straight execution, that everything is done correctly, and a quality way too, especially on my side. When we build airplanes, we want to make sure that our parts are not damaged. We want to make sure that our parts are still kept in adequate condition, not just from the safety aspect of the employees. So one particular story, and it's an older aerospace site, but I was working in a chemical dip dry area. So what this chemical dip dry area is, when you're dealing with sheet metal, you dump the sheet metal into like a pool of acid. I want to say there was like rows of like 12 acid containers, from hydrofluoric acid. What was the next one? Like tetramethyl ammonium hydroxide, which I call TMAW. And the next one was like a combination of an acid bath. So different type of acids. It's just part of a process. Well, the way how it worked was, you need to pick up a crane operation to pick up the sheet metal, dump into the acid. The crane that day was broken. So the supervisors thought, well, what if the employees just suit up with the TIChem suit, full face respirator, and do it by hand, the sheet metal into the acid? Oh yeah, I made the same face. I said,
What?
okay. Yeah, I said, okay, let's think about this real quick. Let's think about this. How much would it cost to fix the crane? Okay. How long will it take to fix the crane? Okay, a week. All right. How much would it cost if someone got chemically burned and then we have to pay for that employee's medical bill? Is it going to cost the same as to just, fix the crane? Let's think about the cost here. And so when you have to compare it like that, because no company, you have to understand, I always tell people, you can build another part, you can make another tooling, but you can't build another arm, you can't build another human. We need to make sure that we protect our employees. So at that point, it's like, let's stop production. Okay, it sucks. We're going to have to stop for a 2-day process. I need you to put in a maintenance ticket. I need you to call out a vendor. I need you to fix out the crane operation. Fix the crane. We can do the process the next day and we'll get it done safely and work will continue. So it's things like that. Just having to make sure everyone in the room sees eye to eye. And sometimes you have to break it down like that.
Right. So, I mean, first of all, that's crazy that you even have to, say, hey, a human's
Yeah.
life is worth a little bit more than crane. So think about that.
Yeah.
So, kind of shifting gears a little bit from EHS, since it's Women's History Month, I'd like to, again, Women in STEM Wednesdays, I want to know, several different topics on being a woman in STEM, especially since I looked at your takeover, and I think there's 27.3% of women in environmental health and safety. So how does it feel being, being one of the 27%? Like, when you currently work at your job right now, are you the only female environmental health safety engineer, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so luckily at Lockheed Martin, I'm really happy with Lockheed. They strive for diversity, and this is my first job actually where I'm actually working with women. All of my previous careers, or I should say previous industries that I've worked at, I've always been the only woman, the youngest person on site. So it's really nice to walk in and there's other women in the office. However, that being said, I understand the safety world is a very small niche. I'm sure there's still people chiming in thinking, what the heck is what is Esh engineering, right? But because it is a small niche, it's a small niche for women, it's a small niche for people of color, especially being Latina. I constantly want to advocate for it. I constantly want to remind students that, you know what, if you're unhappy with civil engineering or if you're unhappy with mechanical or industrial, there are other opportunities. I've had civil engineers work under our department, do an ESH engineering, internship or do an ESH engineering role, and then switch over to a facility side. Same thing. You can work for environmental health and safety in aerospace and then maybe switch over to system safety or system safety flight engineering. There's so many roles that you can bounce back because at the end of the day, you still have to work with the safety engineer, especially when we have new business and new projects. You have to work with me so we can make sure that those processes go through. So,
yeah. Right. And I mean, both of us have platforms on social media. It's really important to advocate for women in STEM, like again,
absolutely.
Engineering Memes Guy has a huge following, and I'm so grateful for Eduardo and Papaya and STEMedia for allowing us to talk about this and giving us a platform, because I think it's extremely important that if you have a huge following, that you are an ally and advocate. Whenever you see microaggressions happen, you call them out. You have to, start from scratch in order for us to break the surface and keep shredding the glass ceiling, breaking the glass ceiling, because we need to break down those stereotypes. And I think it's extremely important. And I think, you're doing an amazing job in, at Lockheed, and you are, again, doing an amazing job as your Instagram at Paulina Castrellon, because, you're always hyping other women, whether it's, like, for example, me, if I have some crazy idea, you're like, let's do it. Let's go for it.
Let's go for
so
it.
I think it's extremely important for us to band together, because there's just so few of us, especially as a Latinx person in STEM, there's even less. There's a good question on here, and someone talked about imposter syndrome. I know you and I have talked about it several times. So I'm going to put it up, and it is, how do you overcome imposter syndrome?
This is a great question. So I'm going to be honest. I still have imposter syndrome. I'm human. I'm not a robot. I'm not perfect. There's days where I wake up and, excuse my French, but it's a quote unquote shitty day. But I have to remind myself that, hey, I got hired here. They see something in me that I bring value to this company. I bring value to this department. I deserve to be in this room. Especially at the department that I work with a lot of folks who have their certified safety professional exam, which is almost equivalent to a PE. I have folks that I work with who have a PhD. I have folks who have, 25, 30 years on me. And sometimes I will say something and I know that I'm right, but I might pull back and I might doubt myself. So that's that imposter syndrome coming in. But something that I do to constantly remind myself is I practice positive affirmations. When I wake up, I remind myself and I tell myself, what are my goals? What do I want? Why am I here? I work just as hard as everybody else in that room, and maybe even harder, because I didn't come from a background of engineering or aerospace education. My family didn't go to college. My family wasn't even born here. So I had to really, really push for that to, exceed that level. And I know you know this story. I constantly talk about it all the time. When I applied to Lockheed Martin, I applied over 26 times and I got denied and denied and denied and denied and denied. And I work here now. I work here as a senior engineer. So if there's one thing that I learned from that, is persistence is key. Motivate and inspire yourself and be your own cheerleader and keep pushing. If I would have stopped applying to Lockheed or Boeing or NASA, I'd probably still be at a smaller aerospace site, which is not a problem. I was still doing very well, but I wanted more. If you want more, go get it. Don't let that imposter syndrome stop you from getting your dream. Just keep going.
Absolutely. I applied to NASA 13 times before I even got an interview.
Yeah.
I always applied. And then, here's the other thing about women is, you tend to only apply to jobs where you meet at least 90% of the qualifications. You need to go for it, girl. You need to, not just women, just men too, apply for the jobs that you don't think you qualify for, because, the job that I have now, I didn't think I qualified for. There's stuff on there that I did not have the experience, but I still got the phone call and I still got that job at NASA. And it still surprises me to this day. Again, the imposter syndrome's thinking like, how did I get here? Apply. The worst thing that can happen is they say no. And so you just keep on applying for the next stuff, but don't sell yourself short. Like Paulina said, she's a senior engineer at Lockheed and she applied so many times, yet she still kept going for it. And that's what you need to do. So I have a question from YouTube. Hernan Lopez. Hello. Is it terrifying to call out microaggressions? Any advice on going about it?
Oh, I will call it out. So this is how I would go about it. Of course, the environment is very important depending on where you're calling it out. So for example, if you're at work, I'll give you, there was a situation at work. So I say my name, Paulina Castrellon. That's my name, Paulina Castrellon. Someone at work corrected me, I used to say, and they said, why do you say it with an accent? Why do you have to roll your R's? Why can't you say Paulina Castrellon? And I corrected them. I said, because that's my name, Paulina Castrellon. I hope that you will learn to say my name correctly, just as I will learn to say everybody else's name correctly. But please correct me if I'm wrong and if I am saying your name incorrectly, because out of the respect, I want to know and I want to make sure that I'm saying your name correctly, right? So definitely, if there's a microaggression that's happening at work, say something, speak up, because no one's going to speak up for you. You need to speak up for yourself. However, if you already check them the first time and they continue to do that, if it's an individual person or a group, I need you to go and talk to your supervisor, your manager, your director, your human resource department, to let them know that, hey, I did vocalize my concern, because HR will say that. Did you say anything back? Vocalize your concerns. You went ahead and let them know, please say my name correctly. And then from there, they'll take care of the rest. But don't let it continue. Yeah.
Absolutely, because like you said, the first time it could just be like you're meeting someone. I butcher
Mm-hmm.
people's names all the time. I'm horrible
Yeah,
at
it
that.
happens.
And it happens, but if you constantly doing it, it seems like it's a little bit more targeted. So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, either, talk to your supervisor or pull them aside and say, look, this is my name. Is there a reason why you're not saying it correctly? Is there a reason why, we keep going down this path?
Right.
You should always address it, because you shouldn't have to deal with, someone not saying your name properly, or someone just, doing little microaggressions here and there. You shouldn't have to deal with it,
Yeah.
especially, whether you're male or female. It goes both
Correct.
ways. So you should
Yep.
stand up for yourself, exactly like what Paulina said. Okay, so let's see. Sorry, there's a
Oh
lot
no,
of
you're fine.
questions on here. So many
That's good.
people have
That's
so many
good.
questions. All right, so
That's
here's another
good.
good
That's
one.
good.
So what motivated you to study the EHS engineering field?
Ooh, I love this question. All right. I'm gonna be honest. The thing that motivated me was I wanted to prove myself wrong and everybody else wrong. So when I was in college and I started off with communications and PR, this was something that my family told me to do. They said do it, and I did it. It's not really what I wanted to do. So when I went over to the STEM world and the STEM career, everyone around me and even my family just didn't really believe in me. And I just said, coño, forget it. I'm going to prove everybody wrong, and I'm going to prove myself wrong. I wanted this for me. I wanted to know that, could I do this? Was I capable of doing this? Could I finish at the end of this? And especially when I was in college, I had this habit of, I start something, but I never finish it. And I told myself, no matter how much I struggle, no matter how hard this gets, no matter financially or within family drama, because we all have our family drama, I'm going to finish. I'm determined to finish. When I graduated, I think my whole entire family cried. I cried. It was like, I did it. And it took, quite some time, like 6 years, here you go. But it was like, when it's done, it's done. That feeling of accomplishment when you finish school is, I can't even, I don't know what to compare it to. I'm still,
Yeah, no, I
I
mean,
did it.
it's an accomplishment. And for
Yeah.
some reason, so TikTok has taken over the world. And whenever you said I did it, I think of that like one TikTok song where it's like, I'm just thinking about it, I'm not going to do it. I'm just thinking about it. And then it's like you have the degree and you
I did
graduate and
it.
you're like, I did it.
Hey.
So I mean, so what was some of your, this is just a question for me, what was some of your memorable um moments in college? Like, did you have any extracurricular activities? Did you do any internships? So anybody who's going into workforce right now, especially with COVID, it's so difficult to find stuff.
Yeah.
So what advice do you give to those who are in college right now, who are looking to get a job after college, who are either, at that part where they're going to graduate or they're starting off? And what advice do you give to them for those that, want to get a job afterwards?
Absolutely. So for myself, I went to school full time. I went to work in the morning. I remember at the time I was working at a gym. So I would open the gym at 4 a.m., go to work, and then I was going to school at night. I even worked as a waitress on Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights and I was doing internship 3 times a week in downtown LA for Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. I had a crazy schedule. Even I don't know how I did it, but if I had to give any advice to students, the one thing that I'm definitely going to say, so please take out a pen and paper, is network. Right now, everything is via, working remotely behind a monitor, behind your phone screen. Get on LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn, work on your profile, reach out to recruiters, send the recruiter, information about like, hey, my name is Paulina, new opportunities. You're interested maybe in Google, maybe you're interested working at NASA or wherever. Go on LinkedIn. And the second thing is network on social media. Use social media as a positive outlook. We're here on Instagram talking about, Women in STEM Wednesday. Both of us, you work at NASA, I work at Lockheed. If you're someone who's interested in aerospace and maybe it's not environmental health and safety, it's okay. Contact with me, talk to me, let me know that you're a mechanical engineer and you're trying to get at Lockheed and you don't know anyone and you're just trying to get your foot in the door. Believe me, I will try to do my best and help because I've been in that situation.
Okay, so go to USA Jobs. Right now, there's internships right for NASA, and they are due March 5th, which is, I think, Friday. So go to NASA internships. Again, we are hiring right now, and March 5th is this Friday is the last day to apply. So go to usajobs.gov, which is GOV. Look for internships right now. And, if you have any questions, like Paulina was saying right before she logged off, message us. We're here on social media. And the reason we are on social media and we do this, we have full-time jobs, but we also have social media at night or, in the evenings or on our free times is because we love what we do. We love connecting with all of you. We want to help you. We want to, those who have questions on, oh, hello. I'm just saying, we love talking to people on social media. We love giving resume advice. We love giving advice in general. We were in your shoes. And like we mentioned, mentoring is really big. Paulina said networking. One of my favorite phrases is network to get work. Again, use your allies, STEMedia for mentoring. And then you have Loomis Automation, who's currently right now hiring interns. They're hiring mechanical engineers. So please use your social media. Look up all of these opportunities because we're here to help. All right, let's see. Paulina, can we hear you? Let's do a mic check.
I can hear you. Can hear me. Technical difficulties happen.
So I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. Okay, so love from all over the place. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, so we were talking about, social media. Someone asked about NASA internships. So again, I was answering that while you were back on or coming back on. So, what's something that you love about social media and reaching out to everybody while, you have this platform?
Yeah, well, if I know but for anyone who's listening, one thing that I am part of, I'm actually a social media content creator or content strategist for engineering gals. And I love engineering gals. Engineering gals is a wonderful community where we help other women in engineering, other women in STEM. Honestly, like with COVID, it's been very hard. You can't really go out. You can't do all the things that you wanted to do. So I've been networking with engineering gals, meeting other gals within the engineering community, and meeting others like Sandra from Papaya Tutor, Dr. Neil, STEMedia, and others like yourself, and just understanding the different roles that they do. Because even if you get, let's say, like a chemical engineering degree or an environmental occupational health degree, you don't have to go in that niche. You can go in so many different realms in STEM. Even I didn't know, right? Like maybe 5 years from now, I'll change my career and say, hey, I want to STEM communication or I want to be an aerospace engineer. You can. It's all about networking. It's all about connecting with people. So I'm really happy to just have connected and build that relationship among engineering gals, amongst, Papaya Tutor, yourself, STEMedia, and so on. So
yeah,
it's been doing pretty good.
I completely agree. I mean, right now, I graduated chemical engineering and chemistry, but I was a mechanical engineer. I was an aerospace engineer. Now I'm an integration engineer. So, if for me, I don't know if it's for you, but like for me, I really wasn't enjoying the lab portion. So, You know, I started networking with other engineers, you know, in areas that I liked and preferred. So working more with my hands, working more on the plane. And so that's how I was able to switch over to mechanical engineering. So like you said perfectly, like, you know, even if you graduate with a certain degree, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be stuck in that degree for the rest of your life. You know, people's opinions change. You know, whenever you start a new job, you started your new job in one location, and then you start realizing that, hey, you want to work more over here on this location. So, you know, if that happens in at work, what is some advice that you give to students, you know, in that exact same situation? So they got hired, for example, in the lab, and then they want to work more hands-on on a plane at Lockheed Martin. So what advice would you give to those if they wanted to switch to something more that was outside of their niche?
So my favorite saying is the best time to find a job is when you have a job. So there's some tips and tricks on your LinkedIn. Keep your profile viewable for recruiters open all the time, even if you have a job, because you never know what could happen in the future. I don't want to say they'll let you go, but it's always better, you know, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Keep that on so recruiters always see that you're active, that you're always, you know, keeping your profile. But if you're an entry-level engineer, and let's mention you work in the lab, unhappy in the lab, bring it up to your supervisor. See if there's an opportunity during your employee performance review for you to do a career change or a shadowing, or just do a switch out from the lab to a different area. If they're not able to do that and accommodate, you know, happiness, your change of environment, or your career growth, again, the best time to find a job is when you have a job. So start putting out the resumes out there, start connecting, start networking, and look for the field that you're in. Another key thing that I definitely want to say is just because you work at one job and you're unhappy, don't feel the need that you have to stay there for 3 to 5 years. I remember when I was an entry engineer, people would tell me you have to be there for 5 years or nobody else will hire you. You have to be there for 3 to 5 years or you won't get a job. You have to show commitment. I said, no, I'm unhappy here. Why would I stay in a place that I'm unhappy? And I went to another job, and guess what? I was unhappy there. I went to another job. I was unhappy there. Niche. And it takes time finding your home, because remember, when you go to work, you're at work 95% of the time. Granted, a lot of us work remotely, but that's where you're putting your mental health, at work. So wherever you're putting your mental health, make sure it's a good place. Make sure it's a happy place that you go to, right?
Yeah.
So definitely that would be my advice.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of people agreeing with you on here. It's awesome advice. And so here's another question from the audience. So can you give any advice for coping with barriers women face in the field? So environmental health or just in general?
So for just, let's see, barriers that women face in the field, and this can vary. There's many barriers. So this one is a pretty vague question. I mean, it depends, but let's say if we're going into women in management, this one's my favorite. There's not a lot of women in management, and we need more women in upper management. And how can we get more women in upper management, right? I'm all about talking about it. I'm all about speaking about it, vocalizing about it. But what can we do? We need that action. So that's where I'm going to need the companies. I'm going to need the hiring managers. I'm going to need, you know, the recruiting agencies to look out for those feelers for women in upper management who are interested, or hire within the company to promote up. If you have a female engineer and she's a level 3, a level 4, she's doing phenomenal, give her that manager role if she's interested, versus hiring outside of the company. Again, upper management, from what I've seen, I don't see women in upper management in the environmental health and safety role. And I'm sure it's like that. I'm not 100% familiar, but that's a big barrier. So we need to work together on correcting that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was reading the other day, it's like 10% currently right now in leadership roles and like CEO roles or something, and like super high. So it's only 10% right now. So, you know, in order to break those barriers down, we have to have those discussions. We have to, you know, get more women in recruiting roles. We have to, you know, get more women in those positions. You know, one good example is when I applied to Blue Origin, I applied to be like a GSE, which is a ground support equipment engineer. I had no experience in that whatsoever, but I was just applying to like everything. Yeah. And it wasn't until, you know, a female recruiter reached out to me and she's like, hey, we don't really see a lot of women in this career. I just want to like talk to you about this. And that's what catapulted my interview into Blue Origin. Eventually they hired me, and it was, you know, they liked a lot of the hands-on experience that I had, but I didn't have all of the qualifications that they were looking for. So, you know, after I talked to the manager, they're like, yes, you do have these qualifications. Maybe we just didn't write them right when they were doing the job application. So, you know, having, you know, talking about it and talking to recruiters about it, I think it's an excellent way to break that barrier. All right, so I have another question for you. So how are you keeping yourself motivated at work during this pandemic? I know that you are like working from home sometimes and then actually going into the office as a safety engineer. You know, you have to be on site to do your job.
So for me, I have to actually be on site all the time. Every now and then I do work from home. I live pretty close from work and whatnot, but I like what I do. And that's what makes it unique is that my job, I'm not sitting behind a computer. I'm pretty much 95% on the floor, on the field. I'm hands-on in manufacturing. I'm hands-on with the articles, the plane. I'm hands-on in the labs looking at the chemicals, reviewing the SDSs. I'm hands-on on the flight line. I work with explosive. I'm hands-on looking at the explosive sheets, right? So every day I pick what I do and it's exciting. The days that I do work from home, I dedicate my time and prioritize my time. This is computer time. Knock out your emails, knock out your reports, because I get into the office, there is no sitting down. It's constantly running around. So for me, I like what I do. Every day's different. That's what makes it exciting for me. It's put on your steel toe boots and run around the whole entire campus and just try to get things done.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's like 95% work from home. But when there's a launch coming, like there's a launch coming at the end of this year, I have to literally be on site pretty much 24/7 with that rocket. So I'm excited to be, I'm a hands-on person. So like I'm excited to actually be there, wear my safety gear, and, you know, help launch a rocket. So, all right, here's one more question. How do you deal with work fear? I am a student and have no experience outside the classroom.
Okay. I was in your shoes and I know exactly how you feel because we've both been there. When you graduate college, I want you to remember these words. Whatever job hires you, you deserve to be there. You went to school, you took physics, you took calculus, you took all of your undergrads, your lower division and your upper division, and you graduated, finished, you did it. You deserve to be there. Don't be scared. And it's okay to have fear, but don't let fear, you know, stay in you throughout the whole week. It's okay to be scared on a Monday, but don't take it with you Tuesday. Don't take it with you Wednesday. Don't take it with you Thursday. You always have to remember you deserve to be in that room. I'm sure we both can say we have our days. Again, this kind of falls in that imposter syndrome. But as an entry-level engineer, just remember, we don't expect you to know everything. It's okay. You're there to learn. You're there to gain experience. And believe me, as a senior engineer, I use Google all the time. There's things that I have to Google. There's things that I have to cut. There's things that I have to review and do homework. And it's okay to say that you don't know. I'd rather have an engineer tell me that they don't know. They're going to go back and do the research and come back, you know, within 24 to 48 hours or in an appropriate time frame to give a response versus, you know, trying to lie and say, oh, yeah, it's this. No, it's okay to say that you don't know. We're human. We're not robots. And you're going to just try to do your best. So you got this. I'm excited for you. Just post it.
See, like the best hype woman on Instagram right now. You know, just to add on to that is when you're an intern, you know, just like Paulina said, if you make a mistake, don't feel like you have to hide it, or don't feel that, you know, if you don't know something that you should know it. You know, a lot of us, when we graduate college, we have like the foundation of like physics and math, but you know, a lot of the jobs that we have, it's on job training. You know, even with Lockheed, even at NASA, you know, you have people there to guide you along the way. And so, you know, when you have mentors throughout college, like we have been saying, you know, using STEMedia, you know, using Papaya tutors, using all of that to your advantage while you're in college. And then even after you graduate, you're still going to have mentors. You're still going to have people that'll help you along your way, because you know, you're just an intern or a first year engineer. You're not expected to know everything. So don't, you know, pretend like you do. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for questions. You know, so that's one of the advice that I wanted to also give out as well. All right, so we're coming up to about an hour. So, you know, I've had a lot of fun here. I know we've had like technical issues with like the memes and then with like the audio. But I mean, this has always been a great conversation. I love Paulina. I love, talking to her. I love learning from her. I love being inspired by her. And so all of you who are watching right now, please go follow at Paulina Castrellon. Please go follow her. You will not regret it. She is absolutely amazing, as you saw in our live today. So parting words, what would you say to anybody who is watching right now? So the floor is yours.
If anyone's watching, like I said in the very beginning, I'm an environmental health and safety engineer and I work in air. If you're someone who is interested in aerospace, like Lockheed Martin or NASA or anything, please reach out. I was a young engineer who had no idea how the heck to get into Lockheed. Who do I ask? Where do I go? How do I apply? How do you get internships? How do you get scholarships? I want to help you because I was that person. Even if you don't want to be an environmental engineer, I get it, it's okay. Then let me find you the right person who can help you. I have some years in the business and one day I'm going to retire and I hope you guys as students are the future who will take over as engineers who are innovators and constantly design and create new things for the future. You are the future. So again, you can contact me at Paulina Castrellon. I've listed all of my Instagram handle on our takeover. And thank you so much for taking the time to just listen within this conversation. It's Women's History Month. Please do your part by speaking up for women, standing up for women, what's the right word here? Advocating for women because we're important. Like, as I mentioned in our takeover, it's teamwork makes the dream work. So we're all here trying to get the job done. We're all equal. So thank you so much. I hope everybody stays safe. Wear your PPE. Listen to your safety specialist and your safety engineer. Please, 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 por favor. So that. There you go. There you go. And if questions within the aerospace, aeronautics divisions, or even space, missiles, or anything else, I will do my best to get you into the right point of contact to help you out. So,
yes, thank you so much. And I also want to say thank you to our sponsors, Engineering Memes Guy. Eduardo, thank you so much for allowing us to use your platform to talk about another Women in STEM Wednesday episode. Also, Papaya Tutors, if you need any STEM related tutoring, please go to Papaya Tutors. I know that they have a special going on right now for watching this episode. Luminous Automation, thank you so much. They're currently hiring for interns, so please visit Luminous Automation so you can apply. Again, apply to anything and just go for it. Go for it 100%. And then finally, STEMedia. You always need mentors in your life, whether you're in college, you're in high school, in your professional career, you're going to need mentors, and STEMedia will help you get those mentors, will help you along your path. So thank you everybody for joining. All right, well, have a good night, and hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. Remember your PPE. Bye, everyone.
bye.